Hey there, I'm Sean Collins, and I'm the esports reporter with the Dallas Morning News, covering the Dallas Fuel of the Overwatch League. You're looking at my own average Genji gameplay right here, from the Overwatch 2 beta. I got to play it a bunch yesterday, as well as a little bit more today. This gameplay is from today. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about, my own thoughts on the game, and as well as like what we might see in pro play, or even what it might mean for casuals. Again, this was a pretty fun match. I think it was probably one of my better ones that I recorded. I tried recording a support gameplay, but it was kind of hard, and I wasn't doing as well. And I might need my buddies to play support for me. But either way. I think that one reason why this game is really fun right now is because you're not spending the entire game shooting at shields or like worried about like the other heroes just obnoxious cooldowns. Like I don't have to worry about a Cassidy stun or a Brigitte shield bash that's just completely ruining my day on Genji. I do have to worry about a sleep dart or like a javelin or something like that, but it's not as bad as it was in Overwatch 1, and I think that's a reason why, some of these heroes like Genji are just a little bit more viable, and obviously I like when Genji is good because he's my favorite hero to play. But as far as like the other roles, I think that support might be the hardest right now, though the passive right now for healing is really strong. The difficult thing about support is that you don't have that off tank to come peel for you. I don't think that D.Va is particularly strong, at least from what I've seen. I think that Reinhardt and Doomfist are probably going to be the best tanks in the game, at least for right now, especially Doomfist. He's just like a better Winston, better Wrecking Ball, just good at diving, disrupting the enemy, displacing them. And, he doesn't have his, like, one-shot abilities anymore, but he is pretty good at tanking and sucking up damage. You can see our Doomfist kind of doing it a little bit right there, even though we lose that fight. And I believe I should have a pretty bad Dragon Blade coming up that you guys are going to see. Just don't talk about it. Either way, I think the tank is actually more fun in this game than it was in Overwatch 1. I was a little bit worried about what it would be like to no longer have that kind of chemistry with a Reinhardt and a Zarya, but it is a little bit more pleasant to play tank on this game just because I feel like you're a little bit more enabled. The healing and the support really does go to you. And here's the worst Dragon Blade NA. Either way, I think I had a few games on Reinhardt, and I thought that he was super fun. You feel so strong with his shield. It might be a little bit overpowered, but he felt pretty much good in every situation because he can cancel his own charge now, and he can use his Fire Strike twice. I thought that was pretty good addition. All right, and Doomfist, he's got a skill ceiling to him, or a skill cap. And he can be a little bit hard to use, but I do think that he's pretty strong. You have to learn how to combo his abilities again. They don't work the same way that they did in Overwatch 1, but it's still a little bit close. With supports, I think that the strongest ones are probably maybe Lucio's the best in the game right now. I expect to see him in pro play a lot. Maybe even like Zenyatta or Ana. I can see like Baptiste. I think it might be a little bit hard to make Mercy valuable. If your DPS dies, she really loses her purpose and like what she's trying to do on the map. As far as DPS goes, I think Soldier 76 is the best DPS in the game. He's really strong. Just because he can do so much damage output all the time. He's not having to shoot into shields or shield and defense matrix or something like that. He really gets to roam free, and he's very mobile. I do think Sojourn, the new DPS hero, is pretty good, but maybe not quite at that S tier or that pro tier. Maybe get some value. I think the Genji is pretty strong, as well as maybe Echo or Tracer. I think Sombra could be good too, if we're talking about what the Dallas Fuel can play. I think that Fearless and Hanbin are likely going to be playing a lot of Doomfist and Reinhardt. If we see something else, it would surprise me a little bit. As far as the DPS, I think Edison's probably going to be playing some Soldier, some Ashe, some Widowmaker, of course, and maybe a little bit of Cassidy and Tracer as well. This was my better blade, thank you. Make sure you pay attention to that one. I think for supports, or excuse me, moving on to like flex DPS. I think that Sparkle's likely going to be playing Genji and Echo. Those are his comfort picks. Doha, maybe we could see him on Sombra. I thought that she seemed kind of strong when I was playing her, but she does require a lot of teamwork. Her hacks don't last as long. Feels bad for this Hanzo. I was much better in the second half of this game than I was in the first. But I think that Sombra is pretty strong, or at least could be in the right hands, so we can see that. For supports, again, Zen, Ana for flexes, maybe Baptiste, depending on what kind of composition you're running, because if you're running a Doomfist, you really do need some bulk healing from either an Ana or a Baptiste or something like that, because he's going to take a ton of damage. But I do think Lucio is going to get played a lot as well. As far as like what I think like casuals might like about this game, again, I already mentioned the not shooting at shields, but it just seems like a lot of heroes that weren't previously as viable are more viable now. You're not punished for putting so many hours into Genji or Tracer just to have, you know, somebody on the other team pick Brig and you're ruined. I do think that Roadhog is unfortunately not very strong, so I'm hoping my random teammates aren't hard-locking him as every single game the way that they did in Overwatch 1, but, you know, I guess if you want to play him, you want to play him, it's okay, you can lose. I think another fun thing about Overwatch 2 is just how much variability that I could see this game having in metas. Again, this is just, you know, the beta. We haven't even seen, like, future updates. And what it might look like. I think that we'll probably see several more new heroes down the pipeline. It was a little bit disappointing to only get one new hero in this game at the very start of the beta, but I understand why. They probably needed to focus on meta and having the game balanced and having it smooth, just because, like, well, the Overwatch League is going to be playing on it. So they really need it to be balanced. They couldn't really afford it. I believe we win this game pretty soon here. But the Overwatch League needed it to be balanced, and thus, you know, probably adding 4 or 5 new heroes along with the rebalancing and reworks that they did for other heroes might have been too tough of a task. So I'll give benefit of the doubt there. The 4 new maps are pretty fun. The 2 new maps for Push are pretty fun. I think the Push is a better game mode than 2CP, just as far as like how it probably feels to casual players. It was exciting to watch pros play it, just because pros are really good and they can make so much out of team fights. But either way, that's the game right here. I think I said either way 1,000 times. You're welcome. But, you know, Overwatch 2 is fun. If you like this kind of content, leave a like and subscribe. It's just, you know, a normal talking head video over not very great Genji gameplay. I did manage to get play of the game, but I didn't manage my my cooldown here as well as I could. Sorry, there's no lack of ghost dashes. Doha's over there rolling his eyes, probably. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Leave a like and subscribe and comment.